Hey everyone, welcome back to Painting with Jay. As always, my name is Jay, and today we'll keep painting together. Welcome back to my Tyranuary. Yes, I read your comments, and the second that someone put down Tyranuary, I was like, I didn't think of that. That's amazing. Good suggestion. So Tyranuary Painting Challenge. Of course, it's also taking up February, so maybe I'll call it High February or something. So Tyranuary Painting Challenge, where I'm going to keep painting Tyranids. I'm having a great time painting some Tyranids. I played the Exocrine, well, my wife technically, but we played a battle report with the Exocrine in it the other day. It was fun to have a new model on the table. And today I'm going to be working on some Venomthropes. So today some Venomthropes that I've already been working on a bit, just a little bit, just to get the basing down, all the colors down, and I'll just keep going from there. I've read your comments, and I'll be discussing some stuff today, and it'll all be good. So grab a brush, grab a model, grab some paints, and paint along, and let's get started. Hey, so this week's painting part of the challenge will be some Venomthropes, which I already got the white and the dark blue on. As you can see, I used an airbrush because of the angles of a lot of these tentacles. It's kind of hard to just do my dry brush method. So I have a bunch of them. Most of them are metal. So these are the older ones before they came out with the plastic kits. I bought them a long time ago, months and months and months ago, about a year ago, in fact, I think. Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year when the new codex dropped. I bought them at Black Knight Games in Hamilton. So, good stuff. So let's keep painting them today. So first off, I should probably address last week's big question. I asked all you viewers out there in YouTube land, sorry, I just gotta step in front here, in YouTube land, if I should start using Imperial Armor models, because I really do want to use Imperial Armor models in battle reports, seeing as some of them can be considered a bit unfair, but on the whole, they're just, you kind of get what you pay for. And, yeah. So it was pretty much overwhelming yes. Most people, obviously I do read your comments. And it was an overwhelming yes. That most people really wanted me to continue making battle reports and start to use models from Imperial Armor, because they add a lot of variety. And maybe coincidence, I don't know. I'm not suspecting they're just spying on my videos or anything. All of a sudden, Matt showed a video. I mean, wargaming from a Macaron. That's kind of funny. So yeah, I'll start using more Imperial Armor models in my battle reports. And yeah, so I got to get some more Grat Tank, I think. So that'll be my next big purchase. As I said, I'll probably wait to get more of them. I'm going to do my video on them shortly. I just really want to have them assembled. And I've had no time this week. It's been a really busy week, unfortunately. And right now I'm just using my favorite color from the Citadel range, Calidor Sky. An equivalent to the old, I think it was called Enchanted Blue. I remember it being called Enchanted Blue. And I'm just going to use some shadowing. As requested by one of you guys last week, I'm going to make just a quick how to paint Tyranid Carapace video in Miniature Painting 101. But it won't be out for a while because it'll be in the warp for a while before it goes for free. Yeah, as I said, I'll probably wait till I go to the next big convention that Forge World is at, which should be, I don't know if they're going to be at the Vegas Open, but if not, they'll definitely be at Adepticon, and I hope they bring enough kits this time. And I'll pick up some more Grat Tanks there, because if I pick them up there, I don't need to pay for shipping, and it's actually considerably cheaper buying them in the States with the state price versus Canada for the Canadian price, then pay, and then on top of that you have to pay shipping. So I'll definitely make a big purchase at Adepticon. So if any Forge World people are out there and you're listening to this video for some random reason, bring some Grat Tanks. Because they only brought 3 sets of Grat Tanks to Gen Con. And Gen Con is such a huge convention. Obviously it's not as gaming focused, not as wargaming focused as, as Adepticon, which is solely wargaming, right? Gen Con is about everything, about, board games and all that stuff as well, so... yeah, so we'll see. So bring some Grot Tanks Forge Roll, people, because I'm going to buy some. And if not, I'll just order them there and have them shipped to my house. And that'll be good. My eventual goal list will be like 18 Grot Tanks, 18 Killicans, and the rest of the points in Grots. I don't know how many points that is. That's probably already more than 1850, so maybe I'll have to do like 12 cans. That would just be fun. May not be the most competitive, but that's not my style, you know. I'm not the competitive guy, but... And lately, I can talk about whatever I want. So lately, I've been really a bit scatterbrained with not my painting. Like, my painting challenge has been going really well. But as I said in one of my previous videos, I'm not burning out by any means. The more I paint, the more I really want to paint. And then I started thinking, oh man, you know what I really like to build, you know, like some Dread Knights or something. And then I started building stuff, and I'm like, oh man. So as I said, this week I haven't had a lot of time, but I have started to build some other models that I'm going to be painting in the near future. And yeah, it's been fun stuff. I've been battling a little bit of a cold this week, not terribly, but I'm not, you know, terribly sick, but I haven't been the healthiest either, but it's just been a busy week. Some weeks are busier than others. Yeah. But I'm glad that people thought, you know, I agree with people, the suggestions. I very much agree with that. So basically the way I'm going to fix the problem is it's better to be stacked against in my situation than me stack against my opponents, right? So I'm going to let people know about, you know, if I'm bringing Imperial Armor or if I'm bringing a Knight or, you know. And then that way, if they want to, I wouldn't say list tailor or something, but if they want to bring stuff that is, again, you know, technically they could list tailor, but all they can do is list tailor against a specific model. That being said, it's a model that, like, if it's an Imperial Armor, if it's an Imperial Knight, that one Knight takes up like a fourth of my army. Probably a quarter of the points. So, but I should warn people. You know, that way it's better that way than me just bring this gigantic model that they may not have anything to deal with it, and it'd be a different story, you know. So that'll be good. I'm lining up opponents a little bit at a time. I don't know if I have one for next week. Let's see if I can make some contacts and see if I can get a battle report opponent for next week. That'd be good. I should definitely start this week. I think it's going to be in the warp for next week, though. There's a battle report with Tyranids. And next week's video will have both the ones in the warp and for free. We'll have the Imperial Knight and the Castigator. One of the battle reports is against Blood Angels, the new Blood Angels. And one of them is against Tyranids. So two very, very different armies. I finally went and saw The Hobbit. That was good. I liked it. I did feel a little bit like Legolas got too much attention, you know? Because Legolas isn't in The Hobbit. He's not in The Hobbit. Like, he's not in the books, The Hobbit. Or they might just briefly mention it or something. He's not actually in The Hobbit. Like, neither is Toriel. And they focus a lot on Toriel, and they focus a lot on Legolas. And it was just like, okay, there's more Legolas jumping around, killing everything, Legolas. It's hard to say Legolas 3 times fast, but it was like a lot of Legolas. I'm thinking, okay, but what about the dwarves? Because it's really essentially, The Hobbit is about a band of dwarves, right? and The Hobbit, obviously. But it's about dwarves, not Legolas running around killing everything. Besides that, it was a good movie. You know, I thought it was good. It was cool. It's weird thinking that series is finally done because it's been in the making for like they started making number 1 I think in 1999 or 1998, maybe 99, and it's been cool seeing everything progress. It would be really cool to be a New Zealander, because a lot of them ended up in the movies just because they were there. Right place, right time. You ended up in the movie. Yeah. That would have been awesome. And my favorite actor of all time, Billy Connolly. I knew he was playing King Dane in it, so I've been kind of waiting for the series just to see him as King Dane. I was not disappointed. He was pretty funny as King Dane, so that was good. Mm-hmm. What else? Since last Painting with Jay, they've released the new army for fantasy. The new, the End Times, which is the Rat Army. Skaven. They got a giant one. Giant rat, which is pretty cool. The models in general for the End Times are unbelievable. They are beautiful models. They really are. They look amazing, and they don't really break the game. From what I hear, they do add a lot of, they are hard, and they're hard hitting, but it's really cool that they've done this with fantasy. These End Time models have really breathed, yeah. It has really brought a lot of new life to fantasy. It really has. Sometimes I look at them, I'm like, I really should do fantasy. But maybe when this painting challenges are all done and all my 40k models are painted and my Infinity Army and my Malifaux Army, then I'll pick up a fantasy army. And by that point, I guess a lot of the End Time models would have been released, and I'll have a lot of to choose from. So that'll be good. I'm definitely not shooting down ever playing fantasy because it's a good game. It looks like a fun game. It's a very different dynamic than 40k, but of course they're slowly integrating the two. The 7th edition 40k was a step closer to fantasy in a few ways. Like the psychic phase has a lot of parallels. It's not the same, obviously, than the magic phase, but it's very similar now. The dice rolling and has a very similar dynamic. But overall, it's been a good week. It really has. I got to answer some emails because I've been behind on my emails lately. I'm about a week behind my emails. So if you emailed me in the last week, people, I'm sorry for not responding. I will do it shortly. Probably this weekend. I'm going to sit down for a couple hours and just get all the emails done because it's hard. When I was leaving Mini Wargaming, I actually got some really good advice from Chris, and I've been kind of living by it ever since. Mini Wargaming Chris, obviously. Before he kicked me in the groin, that was a hard video to film. He told me basically, his almost exact words were "shut up and paint" kind of thing. Like, shut up and work. Don't be concerned about what everyone else is doing. And I'm not usually obsessed with what everyone else is doing, but I'm a YouTuber and I like going on YouTube a lot. But he said, don't be concerned with what everyone else is doing. Just do your own thing, but work hard. Separate yourself from your computer and work. That's what I've been doing, and so I don't actually give myself a lot of time for emails or responding to comments. I do respond to some comments, and I read all the comments. Like when I ask a question in my Q&Js or my Painting with J's, I definitely go through and read all the comments. Yeah. So, that's how I've been living my life for the last 6 months, and it's worked out. I put out a lot of videos, as I showed. My that compilation video was really fun to put together last week because yeah, it was just fun to see the year. But that's how I've been living, just busy, working hard, and it really has paid off so far. And so I'm going to keep going from now on, just keep working, not focusing really on what other YouTubers are doing. I do watch other YouTubers, obviously. I'm not going to be like, oh, they're doing this series, I should not do this, or, and so forth. Yeah, I definitely watch other YouTubers. Whenever I have free time, obviously, I watch, especially in our niche. I'm subscribed to a bunch of them. 2 of them down. 2 of the Venomthropes down. For the blue. It'll be nice to have some painted Venomthropes. I wouldn't say lazy with my Venomthropes, but I've never had painted Venomthropes in my own battle reports. And I use them a lot. So you would have, I've already, the 2 that I've used a lot in battle report, or the 3 that I've used a lot in battle reports, they're amongst these 5, but I've I reprimed them, and I base coated them as well, so they're all going to be the same look to them. That way they'll all be good for battle reports. It'll be, yeah, I wouldn't say lazy or anything, I just haven't had the chance to paint them. And then the rest of this painting challenge, next week is going to be, I really should visit some of the models that I've already been using for my battle reports, like these, and just get them to look nice and consistent with the other armies. Like I still have a couple unpainted warriors that I've used in my battle reports, and maybe a couple of Hormigons. So I should get them all, looking good and consistent with the rest, and then that'll be good. But the other option, though, is starting with models that I don't even use. Like last week with the Exocrine, I've never used an Exocrine in my battle reports before, which was a lot of fun using him. He's good against Dark Angels. That's all I'm saying. He's really good against Dark Angels. Deathwing, holy moly. Pie Plates of Doom. And even if without the pie plates, he was still shooting 6 shots, I think, a turn, and it was hilarious. But, so he's good. And then, what else? I have a Harpy. A Harpy I really should assemble. Of course, a Harpy really isn't that good. To be honest, I know there's some circumstances that a Harpy or a Hive Crone are both good and solid choices. But, overall, compared to the other flyers the other armies have, and even just a Flyrant, Flying Hive Tyrant to me is just a solid flying option if you want a flying monstrous creature on the battlefield. I'm not that impressed personally with the Hive Crone or the Harpy. I'm probably going to build a Harpy, I think, with the kit, and then I'm debating about the other kits. So if you guys want to suggest things, because I already have a Turvagon, but I really don't use a Turvagon much because they got really hit with the Nerf hammer in 7th edition, their latest codex, right? They just really decided to take down Turvagon spam, which is really odd, because then they would sell 6 kits. So they hit Turvagon spam really hard, and really the reason is because no longer, it used to be if you gave your Turvagon like toxin sacs or adrenal glands, it conferred the benefits to the close squads, and then you could also spawn Gons that would jump around and assault, so you could go take things, go assault guys, and they were actually useful. But now you spawn at the end of the movement phase, or start at the beginning of the movement phase, but they can't move, they're done then. So you just kind of block yourself, and they can't assault or do anything. So, and on top of that, Turvagon's got more expensive to take as troops because of the amount of Gons you have to take now. You have to take a full squad. You used to have to only take a min, now you have to take a max. So I haven't been playing a lot. I've had a Turvagon in a couple lists in my battle reports since, also when I was playing for the Mini Wargaming League, when I was, filming the games with them. I played a Turbogon a few times, but he's not really the king of my lists anymore. And I have a kit in my workshop, so I should build either a Tyranid or a Turbogon in the upcoming weeks. So I'm thinking of a Tyranid because I already have a Turbogon, and it'd be fun to try. I know 2 Turbogons are better than 1 Turbogon, but I think it'd be fun to try out the Tyranid and see, how he does in battle reports. To be honest, he has the highest strength gun of any Tyranid has access to. Strength 10 guns, 2 shots a turn. If you get lucky and hits with both of them, you're in great shape. If he hits with one of them, most vehicles he could do something to, so that'd be good. Maybe I should try. Maybe I'm gonna build one of him. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna make a Turbogon. A Turbogon. I'm probably gonna make a Tyranid with that kit, and I'll probably make a Harpy. Instead of a Hive Chrome. What other kits do I have? I have the Hive Guard Tyrant Guard kit. And I'll probably build some more Hive Guard because I already have a couple metal Tyrant Guard around the workshop as well. Look at that, number 3 done. So I already have a couple Tyrant Guard, and you really don't need more than 2 or 3 Tyrant Guard in an army, really, because you're only going to attach them to your HQs, and you're only going to attach them to a walking HQ. So you could attach them to either a Hive Tyrant or a Swarm Lord, and out of the 2, most likely a Swarm Lord, because if you're running Hive Tyrant, I really do feel that the best Hive Tyrant is the winged Twin-Link Devourer version. Psychic powers, if you get lucky, like a psychic power. One of the nastiest things I love about the Hive Tyrant is if you give the Hive Tyrant wings, and he miraculously gets a good psychic power, he's in really good shape. He can give himself the feel no pain one is amazing because you give someone feel no pain and he gets feel no pain, and he's strength 6 and he's flying around, and there's very few force shooting weapons or instant death weapons that can target a flyer or a flyrant. There's a few, like there's the silencer, but there's not that many. So he's in great shape. Or if he gets the lance, the psychic lance, psychic power, warp lance, it's so nasty because what he does is he flies up to your opponent's land raider or vehicle, and in the psychic phase he shoots a lance weapon at it, and then in the shooting phase he can just shoot whatever he wants. And I've actually played a couple of games so far where he'll pop a vehicle, and then in the shooting phase, he just shoots whatever was inside that vehicle. And, 12 shots with Twin-Linked Devourers, 3's to hit Twin-Linked, and then 2's to wound most things because it's strength 6. It does a lot of wounds and can really do some damage to guys. Like, it kills Terminators like no one's business. It'll kill, a Terminator to a turn. So it's a really fun combination, to have. The Hive Tyrant. Of course, he will draw fire, but your opponent knows what he can do because Hive Tyrant's been around forever. So that's pretty cool. I have another Hive Tyrant. I have a foot Hive Tyrant that I'm going to build eventually. And so then I'll have a Swarm Lord, a foot Hive Tyrant, 2 flying Hive Tyrants, a Turbogon, here's a Death Leaper right here. He'll be probably next week's painting challenge. Death Leaper, So I have a huge amount of guys right now to go through. I really do. So we'll see. This month is all Tyranids for my painting challenge. Next month will be, again, all Tyranids, but I'm going to be gone for a little bit to go to the Vegas Open. So it depends on how it goes. And if I don't get a lot of painting done in February, I'm just going to go into March because I have been I don't know, I have not put that much attention into Tyranids in a long time. And after they got the new codex, I really didn't put that much attention back into them either because there was nothing really into the new codex that I was like, oh my goodness, I have to get more of other than, I guess, Venomthropes. So I have not given them a lot of love in a while, and they deserve some love. So a few months of me just painting. Plus, the Tyranids represent the largest chunk of my unpainted models in my workshop, by far. You know, there's a bunch of guys I put together recently. These guys, for example. I have some Devil Gaunts, so Gaunts with Devours, Dev Gaunts. And some Venomthropes. I'm going to eventually get, probably next month, I'm probably going to pick up one of the new Venomthrope kits, and I'll build Zoanthropes out of them. Because Zoanthropes were my least favorite metal model from the Tyranids faction, because the models are so top heavy, and their point of contact with the base is like tiny, because they're 1 foot. So it was a real annoying model. So the new plastic kits are very much welcome and appreciated. What else is new here? It's cold. It got really cold in Peterborough. Just all of a sudden became like really winter. You know, Christmas break was not really winter. It was really warm, and it's winter now. You know, it's minus. Yesterday was minus. Last night when I was painting in here. Now I do work in a heated workshop, so I'm not in the worst situation or anything. But I walked outside and it really hits. It was like minus 30. Feels like minus 40. I really want to get like a super soaker with some hot water in it and try out and see if it will make mist. But I didn't. I should have done it. So yeah, if I can get the Tyranids looking good, that's a large chunk of my painting challenges done. And then I'm going to keep going, you know. As I said, maybe I'll do a Grey Knight month, but Grey Knights, by that point, will probably be getting all the love they need through you know, just my free time and tutorials and stuff. But we'll see. You know, I could always assemble some Dread Knights. And paint them up. What else? Yeah, Dread Knights. Another. I actually have them. I don't know if I've used. I think I've used them in a battle report once or twice. I have a twin-linked autocannon Dread. I started putting them together after the Cyphelman Dreads got nerfed. That was okay. They were really powerful. Yeah. I played against the new Blood Angels, as I mentioned, and it was an interesting battle report. It's probably going to be for free, so that'll be good next week. So I saw the new Blood Angels in action, and I like them. They were pretty much exactly what I predicted. Death Company are still extremely powerful. They're in elites now, and you can't take giant squads of 30. But squad of 15, you know, there's a lot of ways to buff them, and combining with these buffs were hilarious. Like, my opponent just kept, you know, a couple combined buffs on them, and they were nasty. Getting 5 attacks on the charge. Nasty things. So. Yeah, the key is just kill them with stuff that ignores their feel no pain or goes through their armor. And, you know, it's like, alright, they have feel no pain, but it's only a 5 up. So 2 out of every 3 guys will still die. Not terrible. But yeah, they were good. You know, a solid codex. I think it's a decent codex. It's not the greatest codex, and it's not by no means is it even close to the worst. I don't know which is the worst. I was thinking about that the other day. Somebody asked me that. What do I think is the worst codex right now? Other than, like, Sisters. Adeptus Aurora's, that was a terrible codex and just put the nail in the coffin of why nobody collects them. But as far as 6th or 7th edition codices go, Tyranids, until recently, were definitely my top couple for the worst. Because they just kind of removed everything that made them good, and or survivable even. They were not a top tier army in most gaming metas, especially after Eldar and Tau mop the floor usually with Tyranids, right? Because Tyranid army, you just got to get closer to your opponent, and that's where Eldar and Tau can be just as vicious. But and then they didn't really give them a whole lot that balanced the removal of so many things. Like they removed drop pods, they removed the Doom, they removed Nurgle Gene Stealers, which were the only viable type of Gene Stealer to bring. And they removed the Parasite. And it was like all these things that just kept getting removed. And now that they've actually brought them back, they brought back the Spore Pods under a different name. They brought back, I think they're even better. They're way more expensive than they used to be, but they're better because they move around and actually do stuff now. They brought back a similar Doom, kind of a less good but still pretty decent Doom. So that'll be good. And obviously the synergy that you get when combining the drop pods with the new miniatures is going to be really good. A couple drop pods filled with, like a drop pod filled with 5 Zoanthropes. If they get, behind enemy lines and get warp lance off, that's going to be nasty. 5 warp lances will kill anything. Probably even, it'll probably even smoke a Titan with relative ease. So it'll be good. And this is breathing the new life, as I said, back into the Tyranids. Tyranids are good. Or not, they're better, at least, again. They're way more survivable, or not really more maneuverable. By allowing drop pods again, we actually have movement. We can get into your back lines quickly. Because that was the biggest problem. Like, scenarios like the Emperor's Will, you might as well just forfeit at the beginning if you're a Tyranid player. Unless you have Molochs, there's really nothing you could do to get into your opponent's back lines. You march up a little bit at a time, one turn at a time, and just watch your guys get mowed down. And if your opponent can somehow get to your lines, which isn't that hard with Tyranids, especially if you're up against a drop pod list or something with a flyer, they can get around you. So, no, that's good. Orks are a pretty weak codex, in my opinion. There are still some viable options for sure, but it's not. The problem is with Orks, and I love Orks, I'm going to keep playing Orks regardless, is Orks don't fit with 7th edition. They don't fit well. Blood Angels are an assaulty army as well. Now that's Orks and Blood Angels are the two pure assault armies of a 40k, right? Orks are designed now, all their good rules are for assault, and all their warlord traits are for assault. Everything's for assault. And Blood Angels are similarly focused on, in the assault phase. Maybe this, I'm thinking of Lothar Blue combined with Nurgle's Rot might be interesting. I don't know. Interesting. Kind of give it a slimy effect. So right now I'm just going to paint all the brains on them, or these sacks. Plus this will put another color on them, so it'll be good. Orks just don't fit with 7th edition in my opinion. They're about assault, but 7th edition is still really shooting centric. It really is. And Orks don't have, the difference between Blood Angels and Orks is that, Death Company for the Blood Angels get more attacks than the Orks. Plus they're survivable and they go at a good initiative. Orks aren't survivable. They have a 6-up T-shirt save. You can give them make Ard Boys for their 4-up save, but still, it's a 4-up save. It gets expensive when you're making Ard Boys. So Ard Boys are expensive. They don't die. They don't. They just don't survive. Death Company can get away and get into Assault because they are fast, their jump packs are dirt cheap, they feel no pain, and they have a 3-up armor save. It allows them to get into Assault, which is where they belong. But Orks, it's like the new mob rule is so brutal. So brutal. So if you're bringing a large squad of 30 boys, your opponent kills 8 of them. The odds are then you're going to take a bunch of more wounds because they're still leadership 7. And so they're not going to really get to where they need to go anytime soon. And they're very slow. They're a slow army. Very slow army. So you can give them vehicles. But I don't know. I just don't feel Orks are a really compatible army with 7th edition. But they're a fun army, and that's why I play them. Also, they're very weak in the psychic defense department. Very weak. So your opponents can kind of walk all over you with psychic powers. That happens with a few armies. Necrons are kind of that way. Maybe they'll give them something in the future. Necrons, Orks, Sisters of Battle, in some ways. But I find Orks, because Orks are just, oh my goodness, you have one Psyker option, and it's not a good option. And then you pretty much just get trounced by psychic powers. They walk all over you. That's it, I don't know. So probably still Eldar Tau are arguably, I'd still say Eldar now, especially in 7th. I think Eldar are stronger of a codex than Tau, because Tau isn't the most maneuverable army. They're really good at shooting, which is their thing, shooting. They're not the most maneuverable anymore. Eldar are way more maneuverable, because their basic troops can run and shoot in the same phase every turn. Eldar's shooting powers is right up there with, no one is as good as Eldar's shooting firing power right now, because pretty much all of their troops have rending. So, your monstrous creatures just die to Eldar pistol fire. It's really weird. And and Eldar's just a very maneuverable army. And with Maelstrom of War missions, I do find that the idea of Tau are going to be really hard unless you deep strike them where you want to go. They're not going to be very maneuverable, and so you can guard your own objective with your life, but with Maelstrom War missions, a lot of the time you may not need to guard that specific objective. So, and this week I did play a battle, or not this week, but it went up this week. I played a battle report with my friend Andy. My biggest mistake was I really should have activated a Force weapon. I totally forgot about Force, and I would have rocked his avatar. But that happens, mistake. That turn he passed all of his to wound, but of course I get to reroll my to wound rolls. But yeah, but it was a good game. But it shows Eldar and Maelstrom of War. I got an early lead, but I'm not going to mention who wins or anything. I'm not going to spoiler alert my own battle reports. But Eldar can be very good in Maelstrom of War. So, but it's cool. I don't play an army. I really don't play armies for their competitive ability, as you can tell, because I play Tyranids and Orks. Now, they both were once competitive. 4th edition, both of them were very competitive, and then 5th edition came along, and Tyranids got nerfed, and then 6th edition Orks got nerfed. Orks are 6th edition codex, yeah. So. These guys are going to be fun. Next is Necrons. Nextrons, Next will be Necrons, obviously. Rumor has it we could be a couple weeks away from Necrons, which would be really cool. They did release a Warhammer, so maybe I'm kind of expecting an announcement on maybe January 30th, and then first week of February, maybe a new codex for Necrons. We'll see. But I'm curious what they're going to do with them. 7th edition Codicy updates haven't been. I just knocked down a Reaper Swarm. That's okay. 7th edition Codicy updates, most of them haven't been too major. But, yeah. I'm curious. Because now that I have a good sized Necron, I already have 3,000 points of Necrons. And I'll pick up whenever, once I get the new codex, I'm going to collect them a lot more. Because I just don't want to put anything, I don't want to buy new models right now. Especially when, my mission's painting models. I shouldn't be buying new models. And on top of that, I don't want to really put in any fixed war gear until I see the rules, because then it would just be annoying for it to be good for a week. That's just not the best option. So. I got another question about the Google tipping thing lately. So my opinion is I actually like the Google tipping idea, because YouTube tipping idea, because YouTube kind of realized, like companies like Patreon, Patreon was getting money for a cut of donations for people making YouTube videos. So YouTube said, "Oh, we might as well get on this." And I think it's a good idea, personally. Now, and also it puts no pressure on viewers. Like, viewers don't have to tip if they don't want to. So it's an interesting idea. It is not available in Canada. People ask me why I don't have it yet. It's because I live in Canada, and it's only available in a few countries. The United States, I think, is one of them. United States is definitely one of them. I think Australia is one of them. So if it ever becomes available, maybe I'll put it in, maybe not. But if I do put it in, I under no circumstances expect people to tip. If you want to tip, go ahead. If you don't want to, go ahead. You don't have to. I'm not. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of monster creatures I need to paint up. Let's see. Oh, I still have the Toxicrene I want to put together, and a Spore Pod. So each one can be like a week in itself. So that right there might be the rest of my painting challenge for the next 2 months. Because then again, after those are done, I don't have a lot of Tyranids left. So that's going to take care of a good chunk of them. This video, I've not gotten a lot done. It's already 40 minutes in. Wow. Well, I did. I got the 5 guys' armor painted and stuff. Yeah. But I'm liking 40k. The more I play 7th edition 40k, the more I like it. I really do. I definitely not see myself converting to only, War Machine and Hordes anytime soon. War Machine and Hordes, I played a couple games recently. They ended up in the Warp. It was good. It was a fun time. I played with my Scorn. I still haven't filmed. I really should film the result of my painting challenge video. It just feels weird because it's only a 35-point list of Scorn. Now, I should show my progress, stuff and what I worked so hard on. But it's weird, it's because I only have 35 points total. So it's not the most impressive feat, no pun intended. But I should definitely make a video of that. The newest How to Play 40k will be up this week for sure. I'm gonna finish it up tonight. I think I said that last week, but it will be up for sure this week. It's on deployment, and I go into a bit about reserving, reserves. I will be covering the reserve phase in my next video, when I break down the game turns, and yeah, and then so this one's about deployment, scout moves, and infiltrate. And it's good. I decided to refilm the green screen part because I didn't like just how it came off. It's cool. Certain video series like this one, I do find myself putting a lot of pressure on myself with these series. Like I'm not necessarily a perfectionist or anything with them, but I'm definitely more nitpicky because they're videos that will be around for a couple years, probably before the next edition comes out, the way they're going. And I really want to make them good because they're videos that you don't really replace, right? Once these videos go out, they're done. And that's the whole part, like if I screwed up on the movement phase and I made a giant mistake, I'd have to refilm the video because there's only one movement phase video in my series. So I do find myself really carefully reading the rule book, and that's also gotten me a little bit more familiar with some of the rules that I keep forgetting. Like I didn't realize that fortifications, they got kind of, I wouldn't say nerfed, but they got nerfed in the way that they can be deployed. In 6th edition, they can be kind of put anywhere in your table half, and according to the rules, I'm pretty certain now they are treated as normal models. So they are deployed at the same time as your army, no longer before the army, and they can only be placed in your table, in your deployment zone. So that's, things I learned. But yeah. That will all be covered in my videos. These lumps. Yeah, I'm thinking I might put Nurgle's Rod on this. That'd kind of a fun, pussy, but it would be glossy. But I think that combined with the blue would be a good look for the sacks, because they're like the Venomthropes. They're supposed to be, poisonous and toxic. So maybe Nurgle's Rod might actually be fun to put on top. Good. I totally forgot to do the side sacks, these guys. But I really hope you people out there in YouTube land are getting as much done as I have been getting, or even more, because these painting challenges over the last few months, I've gotten so much more done than I thought I would, and it feels great. It really does. It feels great looking back and not seeing, like, my shelf space is going right now. It's just, it used to be filled with boxes, now it just throwing them out because I've painted all the models, and it feels good. I've started using models that I've never used in battle reports, and that feels really good. I want to bring more variety and I want to make the best battle reports I can. So, that's the key. Good, so they're all done with the sacks. Now, what should I do? Let me think to myself for a minute. Because Nurgle's Rot would kind of be interesting. Hylic Oxide, no, wouldn't have the correct. Hylic Oxide wouldn't have the correct finish. There's the wrong medium in it. So right now my two options that I'm really debating about would be Dragon of Nightshade, just to put them, blue shade. But that wouldn't be, where is it? Do I have it? I'm pretty sure I have Nurgle's Rot somewhere. Nurgle's Rots. Nope. I think I just knocked over the Nurgle's Rot. Nope. yeah, if I find it. If I can find it in the next minute while you guys are and girls are continuing to paint, I might use it. That'd be kind of a fun paint to combine. It's Caliban. Here we go. Nurgle's Rot. So I gotta give it a good shake, because apparently mine is settled. I think that would be kind of a cool. It would go over, it's a green finish. So it would go over the blue and have this bluish green tint. But it really is, it's shiny and pussy looking. So I think it'd be a good combined paint to sit on top of my Lothern Blue. So let's go ahead and do that in the meantime, because that way, let me see how this works out. So you just put that on top. Yeah, I think that might turn out well. Just a really thin coat. Interesting. It's like greenish blue. And it should end up being pretty shiny. Good. It might tint it green, but that's okay. Adds another color if need be. If these get tinted green, it'll just be another color for the people who count colors up there. So far, 2015's been a good year. I've just been working, getting stuff painted. I had a day of relaxing. It was kind of cool. Let's see this one. I'm gonna look at the one. So I'm gonna paint this first one because it's kind of looking mustardy a little bit. So I gotta thin it down. I'm just gonna do a really thin layer of this stuff. And what it does is it dries shiny. So it has that rotting look to it. A fresh rotting look. There we go. Look at this a little bit. You know what? Let's do it. It's not too green. It adds another color to it, and it does look really, I don't mean it, but gross. Like it's an interesting color combination. So let's take our bigger brush. And apply it. And just remove a bit of the effect quickly. Good. Look at this. I can always tone it down later with a satin varnish, or if I don't like it, if it's too shiny. If I remember correctly, it does dry a little more translucent, a little transparent than it did. That looks cool. And I'm going to have painted Venomthropes. It's going to be awesome. It'd be nice to have some painted Venomthropes on the table. So I think my new... Yeah, it depends on what I want to take, but at least I'll start taking at least 3 of them. I think 3 in a battle report would be good. 3 Venomthropes spaced out evenly can do a lot of saving. They're a great synergy unit for Tyranids. They keep them alive. Good. So here's one that's... The first one that's continued to dry out a little bit. So it doesn't turn as... It's not that green, or it's not that yellowy. It's a bit greeny. But it gives another color. Let's do it. I think I stumbled upon a good idea. Let's keep going. And I'll probably finish after this step's done. I'm probably going to call it for this video because it's been going for an hour. We're at 55 minutes right now. And I just got to keep going. You know, these guys will be done before next week, obviously, because I'm going to give them some time tonight or tomorrow. And then this is alone, like this is about 250 points, so that's good. So you know, I've done more painting than this week, but if I finished at this alone, it would be, you know, equivalent to a rate of 1,000 points a month, which is basically my goal most times. This Tyranids, I'm probably gonna just keep painting with Tyranids, like a model a week kind of thing, a big monster creature a week, and then keep going and see how long it takes me kind of thing. But I definitely could see myself going to March. Because, yeah, if it takes that long, I'll do it. And then my army will be done. And I can just play, you know. It feels great to just play with them. And then I'll focus on another army. Because I still have to start my Space Marine faction. I really do like the look of the new Forge World Imperial, because you know I do love the Imperial Fist. The odds are it's going to be an Imperial Fist army. But I really love the look of the new kits that they released from Forge World for the Imperial Fists. Like there's a Mach 3, Mach 2, Mach 4, I'm pretty sure. And they look terrific, so maybe I'll start one of them. We'll see. It'd be kind of cool to have an original looking, or in fact it's not played as much. Done. These guys aren't even close to being... Well, they're not that far from being done, essentially. All I would do is I'm going to do the ticking on their carapace. And then the reds. I'm going to do the reds to tile my colors together, like all my other guys together. And the reds will just be the eye and all these bits on the end of their lash whips. And then they would be done. So these guys will definitely be done and good to go for probably any battle report I film next week. That'll be good. Venomthropes giving, you know, Shrouded. Shrouded is really powerful. You know, unless you're playing against an army that ignores cover, like Tau. Basically, Tau is the exception because very few people bring the ignore cover. I know there's like ignore cover psychic powers and stuff that Space Marines have access to. Very few people bring like whirlwinds. So, Flamer templates are still brought, obviously. Flamer templates are brought, but if I knew I was up against a Tyranid army, I'd probably bring Flamers because you would expect some type of synergy to go on, and you know, you'd expect them to bring some Venomthropes. It's really nasty. Like you stick some Venomthropes behind, you know, you put some Hormigons in some good cover, or even normal cover, right? And then put some Venomthropes behind them, and they have 3-up cover saves. That's why that's, as I was saying, they're not the weakest of the armies, because 3-up cover saves, huge, right? It kind of almost deters your opponent from wanting to shoot at them, because do you really want to take all those shots to kill 1 in every 3 Hormigons that are only 6 points each? You know, maybe Toxin Sacks are like 8 or something, but still, it's a lot of firepower to go after one cheap model. But if you leave them alone, They're really close combat oriented, but they're good because you can take squads of 30 of them, and as long as you keep them as fearless, in synapse. But squad of 30 on the assault gets a lot of attacks. 90 attacks on the charge. You give them toxin sacks. Toxin sacks are by far my favorite upgrade for them, because they're a troop killer, right? You give them, they can take down anything on the table. They can take down a Wraith Knight. With that many attacks, they take down a Wraith Knight in one round. It wouldn't be even a challenge. Wraith Knight would be gone. So 45 hits, 22 wounds. Wraith Knight, dead. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so we're about to hit midnight. We're about to hit, not midnight, we're about to hit an hour. So let's look at the progress that I've done so far today. So these guys were darker blue, and now they're the correct carapace blue. Let's zoom in on, let's do it correct. So there they go. They look cool. We got their toxin sacks all made up. And yeah, I got a good amount of work done on them today. I think it's a good part to end here. So that concludes this week's Painting with Jay. I hope you guys and girls obviously, got just as much done as I did. I had a lot of fun. Painted along, talked to myself. And they're good. Look at this. They're not completely done, so I'll have to finish them up later in the week, and they'll be good to go for next week's battle report. So that's good stuff. So there's another 250 points done. In 250 points less models to paint in the future. 250 more points of Tyranids. It's just awesome sauce, Yeah, I'm having a great time. Tyranids are a great army. I love them. I love the look of them, love the feel of them. And now that they're getting they're getting better. So it's good. Good stuff there. So if you have any questions or anything, leave comments in the comment section down below. If you want to tell me should I build a Turvagon or a Tyrannifex? I'm thinking Tyrannifex, but leave your comments in the comment section down below. Or maybe a Harpy versus Hive Crone. Once again, I'm thinking the Harpy. But leave your comments about why, and maybe I'll change my mind. I'll be good. So thank you very much for watching, and most importantly, thank you for subscribing and watching my content. You people are amazing. I really hope you enjoyed this video and got tons of work done. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting with Jay.